And test number 2. Oh, I'm in the wrong class. I suck. And she calls me right like the last couple of minutes of the last class. And I'm like, I'm in teaching. Oh, I'm sorry. We got to have a meeting. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I got students. I got pre-advising. Oh, I know. I'm like, okay, here we go. So, of course, today, let's go ahead and make it settings for class. Let's go ahead and make it for Monday. How about that? Does that help y'all out a little bit?
Yes.
That helps a lot.
There you go. All right. Now I'll go ahead and do chapter 2 too. You might want to make your grade a little bit better. God, you're amazing. I know. Okay. So now I'm going to assign, or not assign, I'm going to preview. And let's look at here. For the following quadratic, do the complete the square and tell us all about the problem. That's basically what the directions are saying. So, anytime you see a question in on this test, it's going to ask you to do everything. So you might as well. Now, what is the number one problem with this test? Does anybody have any idea what you think the number one problem is going to be on this test? I'll give you a hint. It starts with a T. Okay. I'm not going to give you another hint. Starts with a T.
Time? I don't know.
Good job. Time. Why is time going to be a problem?
Because you have a limit.
Because you're completing the square, and you got a limit, yes. But why does completing the square have anything to do with time? Well, if you suck at it, what is it going to take you to do a completing the square problem? It's going to take you time. So that's why you've got to get better. So that's why I gave you 5 times. I think I gave you 5 times to take this test, didn't I? Because what you're going to see is your grade. If you don't like your grade on the first test, you're going to take it again, and you're going to take it again, and you're going to take it again. And with the homework that you've been doing, you should, by the time you get to the 5th test or the 4th test or whichever one you feel comfortable on your grade, you've worked on your time. You've worked on practicing. So I make you practice whether you do the homework or not. I know, I'm a bastard. So here we go. Negative 5x squared plus 15x plus blank is equal to 0 plus blank. I'm going to factor out a 5. That's a minus. 3x plus blank is equal to 0 plus negative 5 times blank. And I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter, as I always do. Whatever I factor out here, I've got to multiply by this right side blank. Half 3 is 3 halves. 3 halves squared is 9 what? 9 fourths. This gives us shortcut number 2. And this is not going to give us much of anything except for negative 5 fourths. So our vertex, well, also our y-intercept. I'm going to put that in a pink color or something. Our y-intercept, before we even start the question, is 0, 0, because that, if you bring it over here, it'd be 0 right there. There's no c. So if there's no c, the y-intercept is 0. Okay, our vertex here is 3/2 and 45/4. Okay, now remember, you need to write that as f of x is equal to -5 x minus 3/2 quantity squared plus 45/4. Okay, they may ask you for that also. Now I'm going to solve for x. Divide by -5/1. X minus 3/2 quantity squared is equal to multiply by -1/5, which would be positive 45/20. And I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And that's going to give me x minus 3/2 is equal to the square root of 45 over the square root of 20, which is not going to be very nice. So I'm going to break this up into the square root of 9 times the square root of 5 over the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. And what's the square root of 5 over the square root of 5? Cancels to 1. And 3/2, so x is equal to 3/2, that's positive or negative, plus 3/2. And -3/2 plus 3/2 is 0. So that's one x-intercept. The other x-intercept is negative, be 6/2, which is what? 3. So there's our two x-intercepts. So now we can draw our graph. We know that one y-intercept is 0. We know that one x-intercept is 0. The other x-intercept is 3. And the vertex is 3/2, which is 1.5. And 5 will go into 45 9 times. So that'd be way up here. Oh my gosh, it's concave down. Yes, because you got a negative right there. It's also skinny because it's 5. Now, domain is equal to all real numbers. Range, -infinity to 9. Increasing from -infinity to 3/2. Decreasing from 3/2 to infinity. And line of symmetry is 3/2. Now there's nothing else pretty much I can ask you. But I'm going through everything. You don't have to go through everything. You can just, I don't know what they're asking for, but I'm going to go through everything on the examples. Therefore, if you can go through everything and you can do it in a reasonable amount of time, you can ace the Chapter 3 test. If you can do everything that I'm doing here and do it in a fluent time period, I'm going to say within maybe 2 or 3 minutes. If you can do all this in 2 or 3 minutes, then you're okay. So let's see what they're asking. Well, let me turn on my handy dandy. Okay, P of X Okay, P of X, they want this right here. So that's going to be -5 parentheses X minus 3/2 quantity squared, shift up, oh shit, shift up, squared, I lost it, plus 9. The vertex is 3/2, comma, 9. Well, we know it's not these two. So you could take your handy dandy red marker and you could just mark through these two. Why? Why can you mark through these two?
Because they're concave up.
Say again?
Because they're like concave up.
They've concave up. Thank you, Miss Maxon. They're concave up. So go ahead and mark through those because there's no use in trying those because they're concave up. So it's either this one or this one, and this one's in the wrong quadrant. So it's got to be this one. A is an alpha. Okay, I have no idea what I've got wrong, but these are right. I don't care what anybody says. Chances are I've got something typed in wrong. Now, if that's the case, then you'll get the answer right. You see me after class and I'll fix it. But I don't know what I've done wrong. Can anybody tell me what I've done wrong? I can't think of.
Is it that you have 9 instead of 45 fourths? Because 45 fourths isn't
45 fourths. Oh, I thought that was 9. I'm sorry. I thought it was 45 fifths. I suck. 45. Thank you. Okay. And I got to change it right here. In my mind, I thought evidently I rounded it in my mind and said 45 fifths. My apologies. There we go. Who put me on? Who said that? Thank you. So if you can do these questions that I'm doing, and I would write them down, and I would do them 2 or 3 times right in every one of these questions. If you can do them, and you can do them in 2 or 3 minutes for each one, then you're ready to take the test. All right, here we go. Now it says solve the equation. So that means when it says solve the equation, that means they're wanting the x-intercepts. So write that down. When they say solve the equation, they want x-intercepts. So 2x squared minus x plus blank is equal to 3 plus blank. Now we already know that the y-intercept is -3. So you need to make a note of that. Oops. And you can check these with your calculator, but I'm just not taking the time because I need to hurry up and do as much as I can for y'all. Okay, so just for giggles, let's go over here and take our green highlighter and say y-intercept 0, -3. Okay. So let's go ahead and factor out that 2. And that's going to give us a 2. And then x squared minus 1/2 x plus blank is equal to 3 plus 2 times blank. Now, I'm going to do a baby step here for you because I know that most of y'all suck at this kind of stuff because it's a what? What do y'all suck at most of all?
Fractions.
Fractions. Because you've been taught, you've been conditioned to suck at fractions. Use calculator. Just use calculator. Just use calculator. Therefore, when you get to college, you don't know how to do anything. All right, so 1/2. I'm going to do this in a baby step. So I'm going to use orange. So I'm going to take 1/2, divide it by 2, and square it. That's equal to 1/2 times 1/2 and square it. 1/4 squared is 1/16. Okay, so don't say I didn't give you anything. I gave you a baby step right there. Shortcut number 2. That 2 would factor that to an 8. So 1/8 and 24/8. Two x minus 1/4 equals 25/8. Oh, this is going to be nice. Going to have perfect squares and everything. Oh, got to take a minute. We're going to take our green highlighter and say vertex is 1/4, comma, negative 25/8. And f of x is equal to 2 times x minus 1/4 quantity squared minus 25/8. So make that note of those two things. Let's see if I can adjust this. And now we're going to solve it. Divide by 2. Divide by 2 over 1. Multiply by 1 over 2. X minus 1/4 quantity squared is equal to 25 over 16. Take the square root of both sides. X minus 1/4 is equal to positive or negative 5/4. X is equal to positive or negative 5 plus 1 over 4. What's 5 plus 1? There's one X-intercept. What's negative 5 plus 1? So there's your two X-intercepts. That's what they want. So I'm going to take my handy-dandy green highlighter. And even though we're doing everything for this for extra practice, because practice makes what? Makes you faster. We're going to go ahead and graph it. And 3/2 and negative 1, 0, negative 3, and 1/4, which would be right in there, and negative 8. Something like that. Domain, all real numbers. Range is going to be from negative 25/8, negative 25/8 to infinity. Decreasing from negative infinity to 1/4 and increasing from 1/4 to infinity. So let's go back to the question. All they wanted, because I want you to highlight solve the equation. Solve the equation means they want the x-intercepts. So that means -1, comma, 3/2. And if it says it's wrong, it's because I didn't put parentheses probably. Okay, that's right. Next. A 0, if you look at your overall grade one day and it has decreased, a 0 has been placed for an incomplete grade. Now somebody asked me, what if I did homework section 3.2 and I didn't do one problem? Do I get a 0 for the whole? Come on, people. What happens in K through 12 if you turned in an assignment with 10 questions on it and you missed one question? Do you get a 0 for that assignment? Yes or no? No, you don't get a 0. What do you get? Well, if you miss one question on a homework with 10 problems, what do you get? Expelled from school. Therefore, you can live in a ditch. Yes, 90. Okay, come on, people. I don't even know what class it was. Might have been 109. It might have been this class. I don't know. But come on. I think it was 109. Okay. Actually, I embarrass you in the class. You quit school and you live in a ditch. Here we go. What do they want? They want the vertex. Everything. Just to piss everybody off. All right, here we go. Take my handy dandy doojicker. And we got x squared minus 6x plus blank is equal to 7 plus blank, -7 plus blank. And of course, I'll start off by saying that my y-intercept is 0, 7. That's my y-intercept. All right. Oh, God, this one's easy. I shouldn't put this easy problem on the test. I might need to go check. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is, oh my gosh, this is so easy. I think I need to go and revise the test. The vertex is 3, -2. Or f of x is equal to x minus 3, quantity squared minus 2. Now, sometimes these test questions will just want one of these. Okay? And I'm going to keep on going. So I'm going to take x minus 3, quantity squared, is equal to 2. Take the square root of both sides. X minus 3 is equal to positive or negative square root of 2. And x is equal to positive or negative square root of 2 plus 3. Now remember, when you have a problem like this, they're going to want it positive 2 plus 3 and negative square root of 2 plus 3. That's what they're going to want in the answer. Now, as far as our graphing, this is 1.4. So that's going to be 1.41 positive or negative plus 3. And we got one x-intercept of 4.41. And negative 1.41 plus 3. That means 1.59. Somebody check me. 1.59. Somebody check me, please. 0, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Vertex is 3, -2. 4.41 and 1.59. Domain, all real numbers. Range is equal to -2 to infinity. Decreasing from -infinity to 3. Increasing from 3 to infinity. They want the vertex. The vertex is 3, -2. That should be your answer. Oh, they want you to graph it. I didn't know they wanted you to graph it. That's good. I like this question. All right, our vertex is 3 and -2. And I guess we can put our y-intercept. It's a miracle. When they're good, they call you Cracker Jack. When you're not that good, you suck and should quit school. Next. Okay, we already through a class. What time's class over? Class is over at 10, so yeah. Where you got to go, Miss Maxon? Oh, she already left. Tri-County. Good gracious. Well, get going, girl. Be careful. Have a good weekend. No, we got, what's today? Oh, today's Wednesday. We got Friday. See you Friday. All right, we got new material probably to go over Friday. All right, next. And that's going to be overall grade. And what should a student do if something happens and they're out of town for a while? Don't communicate. Communication is the worst thing, whether you're in a relationship, a job, school. If you don't communicate, that's usually the best thing to do. What happens if you take a vacation, Miss Davis, at your work? What would happen? And didn't tell anybody?
You wouldn't have a job.
You get fired. Yeah. So, yeah. So go through life and don't communicate and see how that works out for you. Okay. See you later, Miss. I guess it's Miss Ramey. I'm sorry, Mr. Ramey. Okay. All right. Be careful. Y'all need to start calling in. What y'all need to start doing is sitting in the parking lot at Tri-County at Pendleton or go up there and call in for class while you're at Tri-County. Maybe that might help you out. All right. Next. Does she replace your lowest grade? No. Complete the square. Now that means they want the X-intercepts. Yeah, I sit in the library to do class normally. And then, yeah, I think some of y'all, and I know y'all might be running behind today, and that may be why y'all are at home. But yeah, if you've got a class at 10 o'clock or whatever, you might want to go get toward class, go up to Bojangles, eat a biscuit, and you'll be right there at the school. All right, here we go. Oh, this one's, I should change this one. This one's too easy. I need to go back. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back and change these questions because this one's too easy. Don't y'all think? Don't y'all want to be challenged? Hell no. No, I don't want to be challenged. I want to be status quo. 0, -4. What's half of 2? 1 squared. Yeah, this one's too easy. Y'all remember when we first started completing the square and some of y'all didn't know how to do it? Now this one's easy. All right, so our vertex is 1, comma, -5. And let's go ahead and put this f of x is equal to x minus 1 quantity squared minus 5. Okay, and I'm just going to take my handy dandy. This means that this is extra. Okay, and now we're going to find the answer because they want the x-intercepts. X minus 1 is equal to positive or negative square root of 5. X is equal to positive or negative square root of 5 plus 1, or square root of 5 plus 1, comma, negative square root of 5 plus 1. Now, this is the exact answers. So you need to read the directions on what form, but it'll say separate with a comma. And if they say separate with a comma, that means they want this type of answer. If it says separate with a comma, that's what they want. So let's go ahead and draw it. If I want to draw it, that's going to be square root of 5 is 2.7, isn't it? So 2.7 plus 1 is 3.7, or like 1.57. I can't remember. Somebody, what's the square root, or 2.57? Somebody give me the square root of 5. What is it? Negative 2.7 plus 1 is negative 1.7. And draw it. 0, -4. X-intercept of -1 or 1 and -5. 3.7, -1.7. Domain, all real numbers. Range is going to be -5 to infinity. And decreasing from -infinity to 1. Increasing from 1 to infinity. Line of symmetry is x is equal to 1. Okay, they want simplify your answer. Type exact. What does exact mean? Radical. You use a comma to separate. So that means the square root of 5, or negative, got to do negative first. Okay, no. Negative square root of 5 plus 1, comma, square root of 5 plus 1. That should be the answer. Now you see that? I got it right. I followed directions. If you could incomplete assignments and Hubert puts a 0 in for the grade, what should that 0 do to your grade? Decrease it. The reason I ask so many questions about the zeros is because one of y'all are going to act like they didn't know that at the end of the semester. There's always one out of every group. Now, of course, they know that they get a 0, but what they try to do is they try to say, Hubert, I didn't know that. Yeah, you go through 4-unit tests or 7-unit tests. It has 4 of these questions on each one? No. Solve by completing the square. Now, y'all do realize that I'm doing everything on these questions. Solve means find the x-intercepts. So some of y'all don't have to go through all of this. 2x squared minus 3x minus 17 is equal to 0. Just to show you, this is how long it would take you to do just this question. 2x squared minus 3x plus blank is equal to 17 plus blank. Factor out of 2, that's going to be x squared minus 3 halves, x plus blank is equal to 17 plus 2 times blank. 3 halves divided by 2 over 1 squared is equal to 3 halves times 1 over 2 squared, which is equal to 3/4 squared, which is equal to 9/16. That will give you shortcut 2 times x minus 3/4 quantity squared is equal to 2. We'll take that out and make an 8. That'll make a 9/8. And I don't know. Somebody tell me, what is 17 times 8? Please, what is 17 times 8? 17 times 8?
136.
136 over 8. And what is 136 plus 9? 145? Divide by 2.
Yeah.
Divide by 2. Multiply by 1/2. X minus 3/4 quantity squared is equal to 145 over 16. Square root of both sides. X minus 3/4 is equal to the square root of 145 divided by 4. And x is equal to positive or negative square root of 145 plus 3 divided by 4. Okay, I just found the x-intercepts. Now, of course, you need to write it. 145 is divisible by 5. So we may be able to break it down into something that you can take the square root of. Let's see. 5 will go into 145. 5 will go in there too. 29. I don't think that's going to work. 2 times 5 is 10. 45. 29 and 5, there's no perfect square there. So chances are you're just going to leave it like this. So you would type that in. It says commas to separate. So negative square root of 145 plus 3. And I bet I'm going to regret this. Yep. The fraction button. Negative square root of 45 plus 3 over 4, comma, fraction, square root, 45 plus 3 over 4. That should be the correct answer. Is it 140? Sorry. I got that answer correct. Now, I'm going to get all kinds of challenge questions from y'all. And why are you going to send me challenge questions? Because you didn't take the time to type it out correctly. And if it says use a comma to separate and it says exact, that means you got to do this. And I know you don't want to do it, but that's what you have to do. And I'm not going to give you credit if you just were lazy. Next. The most missed bonus question. I don't understand why. Okay. Oh, time for an easy question. FOIL method and shortcut. So 5 plus I times 5 minus I. Well, that's shortcut number 3. So I'm going to highlight that because you should be able to do a shortcut there. Okay, you should be able to do a shortcut there. Times 2 plus 4i. All right, this is 25 minus I squared. I squared is what? Somebody tell me what I squared is. I told you that. I went over I squared.
-1.
Good job. What's 25 minus a -1? What is that? 52 plus 26 times 4. Y'all help me out. What's 26 times 4? I think that's right. So that'd be 52 plus 104i. Okay. And I'm running out of time. I got 2 minutes, so let's move on. 0. You get a 0 when you don't turn in assignment. I didn't say question. I said homework assignment. A rock falls 58, blah, blah, blah. This is the quadratic equation right here. You can do this, or you can actually do this one on a graphing calculator. Y is equal to negative 4.9 t squared plus 50.8. And delete everything after that. And it does, I don't know why it does that. It irritates the crap out of me when it does that. $58.8 and hit graph. And of course, zoom standard or zoom fit. Hold on, let me do zoom fit. There you go. And then of course you can find your X-intercepts by hitting second trace and find your zeros and find your maximum. I'm going to just stop right there. If you want to find what happens when the y is equal to 40, then you type in y is equal to 40. Oh, crap. Hold on. Then type in y is equal to 40 and hit graph. Okay, I done messed it up. Okay, it should type both of them. Why is it graphing both of them? Zoom 0. Oh, I took off the negative, that's why. My bad. Y is equal to second insert negative. There we go. Now that should work. Of course, zoom 0. There you go. And 40 will come across and you find those two intersection points. Okay, so let me shut her down. I'm going to just go through right quick and show you some more questions. Basically, they're all following the same format. Watch. Okay, there's the bonus question. Okay, there's just add the 2 minus 5 is -3 plus 6 is 3, and then 6i, -6i plus 4i is -2i. -2i plus I is -I. So I got 3 minus I. I think that's what I said. I can't remember. I did it in my head. So let's do it again. 2 minus 5 is -3. -3 plus 6 is 3. -6i plus 4i is -2i. Need -3i. Okay, you'll just do the math. I can't do it in my head. You need to distribute this. 2 minus 5. That's -3, right? -3 plus that's 3. 6i minus 4i. Oh, minus 4i is 10i. 10i minus I is 11i. Gotta watch your signs. Okay, so that's just adding and subtracting. This, what's in common with both? Yeah, no, this is conjugate. I'm going to show you this one right quick. And then we'll shut her down. I know you got to go. 24 plus 4i. 24 minus I. You got to multiply by the conjugate. And the conjugate is 24 plus 4i. 24 plus 4i. And on the bottom, use your FOIL method. And on top, use your FOIL method. And the bottom is going to reduce down to a number because of the I squared. Okay? So that's what you do there. And I'm going to shut her down. I'm going to just... There's another one. You can do that one. Actually, you can punch that in the calculator and match it up. But it may ask you for things that you have to use trace. All right, let me shut her down. Let's see who's here. Stop recording.